Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to use an oscilloscope. We're going to look at four important controls: the X position, the Y position, the Y gain, and the time base. We're going to look at how to measure the magnitude of a DC signal and the peak voltage and time period of an AC signal. Oscilloscopes can be very confusing, but there are only a few of the controls that you absolutely need to know about. Let's start by looking at the screen itself. You can see that it is divided into grid squares. These are typically 1 centimeter on each side, and in the middle on both axes we have a finer scale that goes up in fifths of a centimetre. Wherever possible, we want to be reading our measurements from these centre lines because we'll get more precise results. The first control to look at is the Y position. This allows us to shift our trace up and down on the screen, and that might allow us to align better with the grid lines, for example. Still considering the vertical axis, we also have this volts per division. This is known as the Y gain, and this controls essentially the scale of the Y axis. As it's set at the moment, 1 grid square on the vertical axis corresponds to 5 volts. If I adjust that to 10 volts, you can see that the trace shrinks because we've reduced the scale of our graph, or I can shift it to 2 volts, and the graph is now so large that it goes off the side of the screen. Now considering the X-axis, over here we have 2 more important controls. We have the X position, as you might expect. That allows us to drag our trace left and right. Again, really useful for lining up with grid lines. And the time per division, usually known as the time base or sometimes the X gain, controls the scale of the X-axis. So I can make the scale smaller or larger. We also have a control up here called sweep. This allows us to turn the time base off altogether. We'll have a look at that later in the video. You'll notice the way this is set up at the moment is that I have an AC frequency generator connected to channel 1 and a DC power supply connected to channel 2. If I switch to channel 2, you can see that we now have a flat line across the axis. This is because the power supply is currently turned off, so it's not receiving any signal. So it's correct that this is at 0. If it's not at 0, we would need to use the Y position on channel 2 to adjust so that it is at 0. Let's turn the power supply on, and you can see we've set a voltage of 13.3 volts. Our line is now higher up the graph. Because this is a DC signal, it doesn't change over time, so it's a continuous flat line. If I turn off the time base, instead of plotting a graph against time, we would just consider the voltage at a single moment in time. So let's try that. Now with the time base off, you can see that the voltage is represented as a single dot. And I can adjust the position of that dot to sit on our Y-axis. If I turn off the power supply, that dot drops to 0 and sits at the origin. Turn the time base back on, and let's look at how we can measure the magnitude of the voltage being displayed by our oscilloscope. We'll start by turning off the power supply. So if necessary, we can adjust the Y position so that our trace sits neatly on the X-axis. If I power up the power supply again, you can see that it has now jumped up. I should adjust the volts per division so that it stays on the screen but uses as much of the screen as we have available. So if I drop it to 10, that's using less of the screen, so that's not less good. I could raise it to 2, but that's gone off the chart. So 5 is the correct setting on the volts per division. So let's take our reading now. So because we know that we started at 0 when the power supply was switched off, the line sat at 0, we are 1, 2, 2.6 divisions above the center line. So we can now do 2.6 multiplied by 5 volts per division, and that gives us a reading of 13 volts. Let's switch back to channel 1, where we have our AC signal. You can see that it's produced a nice sinusoidal wave. What do you think it's going to look like if we turn the time base off? If we turn the time base off, it produces a single vertical line because the entire sinusoidal wave is being drawn on top of itself. This can be really useful, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So the first thing we want to determine from this signal is the peak voltage. And to do that, we need to start by adjusting the scale so it fills as much of the screen as possible. So it's currently set to 5 volts per division, but it's quite a small trace. If I adjust it to 10 volts per division, it gets even smaller. So I'm going to go in the other direction. 2 volts per division is a bit better. 1 volt per division fills most of the screen, but if we go to 0.5 volts per division, that's too zoomed in. It doesn't fit the screen anymore. So let's go back to 1 volt per division. To measure the peak voltage, we always need to measure the peak to peak voltage and halve it. To take the measurement most precisely, I'm going to drop the position of the waveform so that the troughs sit on this horizontal grid line here. And now to take an accurate reading, we need to adjust the X position so that the peak sits neatly on the center line where we've got a fine scale that we can read off. So I'm going to adjust the X position like so. And now we count the number of grid squares. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would say that is 6.3 grid squares, where each grid square is 1 volt per division. So our peak to peak voltage is 6.3 volts. We then halve that to get our peak voltage, which I estimate to be 3.15. Let's try the same exercise again, this time with the time base off. With the time base off, it can be a little bit easier because we just need to adjust the position of one line on that center line. And again, we can take the reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.3. And once again, that will give us 3.15 as our peak voltage. We turn the time base back on. We can measure the time period and therefore the frequency of our signal. To do this, we should adjust the time base. So we zoom in just to ideally one complete oscillation. So if I zoom in there, we've got one full oscillation on the screen, and that's going to allow us to get a more precise reading. I'm going to start by adjusting the X position so that the signal crosses the X-axis in 2 positions. And I'm going to line up the first of those positions nicely on one of the grid lines there. And then we can count the squares across to the same point on the next wave. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full grid squares exactly. And our time base is set to 0.5 milliseconds per division. So 8 multiplied by 0.5 is 4. 4 milliseconds is the time period of our signal. And if we want to work out the frequency, we can do 1 divided by 4 milliseconds, and that will give us a frequency of 250 hertz, which agrees with the frequency of our signal generator here.